Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby, and while I really don't like to make videos about drama inside the World of Tanks community, I really feel like I need to set the record straight about Iyouxin and him being removed from the CC program. Quite a few bad actors who frankly haven't liked me for a decade are coming out and sticking the knife in and trying to take clips which are frankly out of context. Because I guess YouTube views and ad revenue during the summer is really low and they want to use me as a platform to try and monetize. All right, fair play, guys. So one of the biggest problems that the community have is that they feel that I sided with Wargaming and that I threw Iyouxin under the bus. And so I thought, why not just go to the conclusion of the video right at the beginning? I reached out to Iyouxin and I asked him, how do you feel about my reaction to you getting kicked out of the CC program? And Iyouxin's response, and thank you Iyouxin for replying so quickly, when I know that you're a very busy person, and giving me permission to post your response in this YouTube video. So Iyouxin said, I heard your reactions and I'm fine with them. I do not feel thrown under the bus or betrayed by you. I'm not asking anyone to support me in this situation and I'm sorry that you are being targeted. I wish for this drama to be over and I hope people will stop making videos that make it worse. QB, I respect you a lot. Don't know why, but thank you, my dude. I respect that you've always been supporting me with raids before and after the drama, and I hope that one day maybe we can play together. I wish for nothing but good relations in the future. That sounds very much like a utopian existence. So let me clarify, just for everyone who doesn't into the Twitch lingo, what exactly a raid is. No, I'm not like producing a load of units and sending some Vikings over to attack his camp. What a raid is actually a very good thing on Twitch. It's where one streamer at the end decides to send their audience, as they're going to stop their live stream, to another person who's already live. Me and Iyouxin have been doing this for each other for the last few years, and but before like this drama really started to kick up this week, I raided him like at least once or a couple times since unfortunately he's been removed from the CC program. And to answer Iyouxin that he hopes that maybe one day we can play together. Look, if enough of you Muppets want to see that happen, two big Muppets play on the battlefield, or at least one Muppet and one incredible player, let me know and maybe I'll try and make something happen. So this should be the end of it, right? If Iyouxin feels that I haven't thrown him under the bus, it should be over. But no, like I want to add some context towards the clip that's been going around of me being very frustrated after frankly just answering the same question probably about 30 times over a 6-hour period. So funnily enough, the actual most viewed clip of my reaction was this. Let's watch it in its entirety. He didn't have a clean history with Wargaming in the past. Number two, he was only made a CC or made a CC because of this history 3 months ago. And then within 3 months, during effectively what is considered a trial period for the CCs, right? He effectively, unfortunately, whether intentionally or not, was the main instigator in a boycott that then led to lots of Wargaming staff having threats, harassment, a huge pitchforks firestorm. It also made it so that CCs, not just from the EU, but also from other regions like Asia and China, also had issues as well. And they probably aren't going to be quite as nice as say, us as European creators would be, considering they don't know who Iyouxin is, probably as much in the Asia region. So while this clip was about 3 to 4 hours in the stream after I'd already answered that question about 10-15 times, that's not the one that you've all been seeing with people who, for whatever reason they want to come out and dig the knives in. Instead, they've been linking this one, which is about 6 to 7 hours into the stream, where probably I'd had to answer about 30 or 40 times. And while this is still no excuse, man, sometimes, some days when you've been playing World of Tanks 6 or 7 hours, you do end up getting frustrated. And answering the same question again after 30 times, my response was less than stellar, and let's watch it. You just listen to what I'm saying. Iyouxin was removed from the CC program because he was only a CC for 3 months. And he had already done dodgy stuff that Wargaming did not like, which is why he wasn't a CC in the first place. They gave him a chance, and unfortunately, through either fault of his own or no fault of his own, that he ended up starting a boycott, whether he called for that boycott or not, and posted it on internationally around the world, in like the Chinese platforms and whatever, that it ended up with them having huge issues. Okay? And look, if you just started a new job or something like that, even though it's not a friggin' job, you know, I did not call for a boycott. I did not say boycott. Okay, so that was the entire clip. Look, no excuses. This is just me being frustrated. This is me frustrated after playing World of Tanks for 6 or 7 hours straight. This is me frustrated that people weren't able to find the first response, the most watched clip that was actually being linked. And this was people just wanting to, you know, have some QB rage to be able to get some attention. Look, it's not good. I've learned from this. What I've learned is to give that opinion in the first time and then just have that and then not say anything about it again. And no matter how frustrating it can be that then your Twitch chat thinks that you're avoiding the conversation or that you're not answering or that you're trying to not talk about it, I feel like that's the only way that I'm going to be able to go forwards. So look, that clip, it's not great. I do sound wound up. I do sound intense. I went away. I had the Sunday off. And then I came back on the Monday, and again, people were asking me. And then this was what I said 2 days later on Monday, the 23rd of June. And this would have been my answer just minutes into the stream. Oh, maybe not that slow. About this like 30 times on Saturday, and I'm not going to have people bring it up every 5 minutes. Of course I don't agree. I like Iyouxin. He's a good guy. Just to clarify, this is to answer to, do you agree with Iyouxin being kicked out of the CC program? So that was my answer. No, he's a good guy and I don't agree. I think what he said was fair, but he did make a mistake to call out for a boycott. That was a bit of a mistake, considering it was a mistake considering how long he'd been in the program for. Let me clarify. It's either a mistake or it's very bold. Yeah. Some people would go that far and be willing to give up their entire involvement in the program over that, which is fair. So mistake from one context, bold from another context, which is only 3 months. It was quite bold, and you know, power to him. I had exactly the same opinion on him with regards to boxes being predatory. I said Wargaming should be ashamed of themselves. I delivered feedback behind closed doors for months before, saying it was a terrible idea. And yeah, I don't think there's really too much more to say about it. That's it. So that was when, you know, you haven't been asked 30 or 40 times in a stream. You've had a chance to go off and actually process it. And I got a level with you guys. Like, it just makes me very sad, honestly. One of the reasons why I got so frustrated that 6 or 7 hours into the stream was not just being asked about it, but I think I hadn't also had a chance to just appreciate how sad it was that this, like, young, awesome Ukrainian creator said effectively what I said, but unfortunately called for a boycott, and that he gets punished from that due to circumstances. And you know what? It is unfair. It is unfortunate. Someone who I respect, someone who I respect, especially as a creator, would now not have the same opportunities that I have within the Wargaming creation program. Not because they harbor different views, but just because of a call to action that they made. I hope that some of you also understand that those loot boxes, I hated them. I said the Wargaming should be ashamed of them on the day of their release. And then to be reminded of them 2 weeks later, again and again, with it coming up. And quite rightly, people should feel passionate about it, and they should be outraged. But as a creator who's sitting down about to play World of Tanks for like 6 to 10 hours, man, it can really just make you go down this mind path of just sadness and depression of how can you sit there and be entertaining, and how can you sit there and enjoy the game once you've started to go down that kind of a mindset and a narrative for the day. It's really tricky. So now that I feel I've hopefully set the record straight about how I feel about Iyouxin, about how my reaction was in that one instance out of the 30 reactions that I gave, and of course why some people would be focusing on this one. And now I want to address what the community have been saying about me being like a wargaming contributor rather than being a community contributor. Guys, since literally the very beginning, 10 years ago for this video about Rubicon, that many of you might not have even been playing World of Tanks back then, when serious things happen, I always stand up to try and voice that to Wargaming. Let me talk about Rubicon and 10.0 and what it could have become. Wargaming were actually trialing a feature where, depending on what emblems and what camouflage you put on a vehicle, you actually got different bonuses to your different crew members. So for example, if you just put like a funny emblem on a vehicle, it would make you you're gonna fire faster, for example. And the only way that you were going to be able to get these was by spending gold to put them on all of your vehicles. So you would have probably just put random arbitrary slogans on your vehicles just to be able to min-max and have no opportunity of actually purchasing them forever for credits and only being able to rent them on your vehicles. It would have been absolutely bonkers, and I think it would have absolutely ruined World of Tanks right from the get-go. Luckily, that patch was cancelled, and I do think that I was there for the community and one of the main instigators to solve that issue in World of Tanks. Next, this video didn't really have so much of an outcome, but I detail and I break down the total numbers who were playing World of Tanks over the years in a video that was titled "Is World of Tanks Dying?", which got 500,000 views, where I talked about all of the issues that the World of Tanks had for missed content, for overpowered vehicles being put in, really the failed launch of 1.0, and trying to give reasons for that in as objective way as possible. And why if I was for Wargaming and not the community would I be making content like that? Or that same year where I talked about gambling inside World of Tanks, trying to make it so that vehicles that were inside loot boxes would not be completely random. And I even suggested that maybe there should be like a way to purchase the vehicle outright outside of the boxes at the same time. The very next year we had bad luck prevention, like a pity mechanic, which guaranteed that you wouldn't have to spend thousands of dollars to maybe get like a Type 59 or an IS-3A. 2 years later for Crew 2.0, where you would have had to have taken a significant mortgage to be able to get all 21 crew skills on one of your vehicles. I genuinely think this would have killed the game. And it led to a complete cancellation of Crew 2.0. And then we only got it last year. So Wargaming literally developed it then for a year and a half, and we got it in so much of a better form. And while I'm not saying that I'm the only person in the community that held this opinion, I do think that one of my strengths as a creator is to be able to break down the numbers, break down the jargon, and try to come up with some serious constructive suggestions and feedback. And then Wargaming being ashamed of their most recent loot boxes during literally the release day, which unfortunately then ended up with Iyouxin no longer being a CC. I said that Wargaming should be ashamed of their tiered loot boxes. I broke down in extensive fashion to calculate how many boxes you would likely have to buy, which was thousands of dollars. To be able to get all of the content. And clearly, if I was someone who only really cared about Wargaming and their margins, I wouldn't be going and doing the math and breaking down the exact disgusting amount that you might have to spend and recommending that players take that into firm consideration before they decide whether they should actually buy the boxes in the first place. So to all of you out there who call me a Wargaming contributor, there's very few things that would actually offend me, but I think that may be one of them, because since the very beginning when I started as a player, before the CC program was even there, and at every important moment since then, and here's the thing guys, you can't be like the boy who cried wolf and cry out over every little thing that Wargaming do, otherwise eventually they're going to stop listening to you. But I am hands down guilt-free always for the community. And please don't mistake me presenting paid content inside the game, of which I'm under no financial incentive from Wargaming to do so, to try and achieve my original key goal to get you as informed as possible so you can make your own decisions. And once again, please don't believe anyone that I agreed with Wargaming in any shape or form for Iyouxin getting kicked out of the CC program. I was simply trying to provide context as to why this might be the case. Once again, I'd like to apologize for the fact that I got frustrated answering the question 30 times 6 or 7 hours into the stream. And guys, please question context and why you're being presented clips and videos, and what does the person who's posting them have to gain. Again, I really don't like making videos like this. I try more or less to try and keep my YouTube channel about either fun replays or information that can help you to be able to make better decisions. And I do feel like a lot of the drama inside World of Tanks is probably just community frustration that we're waiting with bated breath to see what September will bring. So World of Tanks community, if you've got 2 months to wait, and then we'll see whether it's going to be a party or whether it's going to be a nightmare. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for staying with my content. And if you enjoy it, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. There's more to come.